guys, welcome to today's vlog or video. I don't know, I'm just gonna do a little chat. I'm sitting here with Harper because Sean is taking his nap, and I actually just got back from taking Harper to the doctor. She got her earrings put in. I don't know if you guys can see. She's got her little earrings. So yes, she's 4 months old, and typically that's just like culturally what us like Latin people do when the kids are like teeny tiny. When the girls are teeny tiny, we put their earrings in. So I did the same thing with Riley, and now she has hers. So I'm gonna be like cuddling her the rest of the day, just making sure that she is nice and content, but she looks super cute. And then, like I said, Sean is taking his nap. The kids are doing some quiet time, which is nice because I wanted to just kind of like sit and chat with you guys and do just some like processing, because obviously like the news has been super heavy this past week and the kids are screaming and they're gonna fight through this video. So if you can't even hear me, I'm sorry. But the news has been heavy and the world has been heavy, and I've been wanting to just like sit down and process with like just my thoughts, and just process like with you guys, process some of the things that have happened, my thoughts on it. And I had to take some time off of Instagram, like when the news broke out last week that Charlie Kirk had been killed. I had to take some time off because instantly, I don't know, like, well, I was already feeling anxious a couple days before because there was like that stabbing that happened, and that for some reason, like I watched the video of that and it was like horrific, plus the shooting of like the kids in the school. Like there's been so many things that had been happening, and I was already feeling very anxious and very it's like not in a good mental space. And then when that news broke out about Charlie, it was like, I don't know, it was just hard to process. I didn't really believe that it was real. I was, in a way, I kind of just like couldn't believe it. And then thankfully Joe told me, he instantly texted me, he's like, don't watch the videos. He's like, don't watch anything that you see online, like don't watch the video because it's really bad. I guess he watched it and he was like severely affected by it, so he told me do not watch the video. And I'm so grateful he told me that, because I had seen other videos of other horrific things lately and I was just like I was not doing well with just how they were affecting me. So all of that to say, I just took some time off of just being on Instagram and like living in the space for a couple days, maybe like three days, like after it had happened. I just didn't want to be just spending all my time on my phone, so I took a little break. But then I came back eventually, little by little. I came back to the internet world and I started kind of seeing what was going on. And I guess it's just weird when you have like an Instagram or you have like a YouTube channel. Like it would be really weird for me to just like never ever mention that this happened. Not to say that I have to talk openly about every single thing that happens, because then my videos would just literally be the news, right? It would just be like a news channel, because there's so many horrible things that are happening lately. But you guys are my friends. I consider you guys my friends, and maybe you don't have a lot of people to like talk to like about this kind of stuff, or you don't have anyone to kind of bounce ideas off of. And I think, I don't know, there's just like a sense of responsibility that I feel to kind of discuss some of these bigger topics and these bigger things. And I just feel like this really is kind of like a moment in history where like we gotta get it right, because if not, I don't know what the rest of the world is going to look like, or what the rest of our existence is gonna look like, to be honest. So I don't have any kind of script. I'm just like, I prayed before this video that the Holy Spirit gives me words of wisdom or something to share, because I don't like to sit down and film videos where things are like scripted. It's just like not my style. But then yes, like I am just a mother who is doing her best to raise good children. I'm trying to be a good wife. I am not a historian. I am not a news politician. Like that's not me. I'm literally just a 35-year-old mom, like on the struggle bus raising her 4 kids. So point is, like, I won't always say things perfectly, but like they will be from my heart. They will come from here. So anyway, point is, I have been feeling pretty anxious and I've just been like really sad. And I think the thing that affected me the most wasn't necessarily, like, obviously horrific that somebody killed somebody else, right? Jackson was coming to get some Legos or something, and that's another reason why I haven't been able to like sit down and really film anything, because the kids are always around and we're trying our hardest to like we don't want them to hear exactly what happened, and you know, just have to deal with any of that stuff because they're kids. And like even us as grown-ups, like it's so hard to be bombarded by all of this horrible stuff happening in the world. So we've been trying to shield them from that, which I think is wise given that my kids are 5 and 7. But anyway, what affected me, I think, like, it was obviously horrific that somebody killed somebody else like that, that he was assassinated, that his life is over. Like, that was horrific, and that was like super sad. And again, I don't have a lot of experience in my personal life with death, which is a blessing obviously, but it's also like weird because then when it happens, like I don't really know how to process it. So obviously sad, very much like in disbelief that that can happen. But I think the thing that affected me the most, like if I'm being honest with you guys, is just seeing how people reacted to it. It was like going online and seeing people celebrating it, and was like reading people's comments. And it's interesting because I had been feeling the same way already, because a few days before this even happened, I don't know how many of you guys like go down rabbit holes or whatever, but I was like on Threads, and there was like this big conspiracy theory that the president was dying or was dead or whatever, and reading people's comments about that and like how happy people were, and reading like, oh, is today the day that we get to like wake up and, you know, he's dead, and like people were like, those are people's comments that they put on their feed. Like, number one, like how stupid are you to comment stuff like that, but like also evil, like just pure evil. So after Charlie, you know, was killed, I was reading the same kind of things, and like you were seeing like what people were saying, and people were legitimately like thrilled and celebrating it. And that just, I don't know, it shook me, because like I don't understand how you celebrate the death of somebody. Like I really don't. I don't understand how you celebrate that somebody who was a husband, who was a father, who was a young guy, who hadn't like killed other people. He wasn't somebody who, again, like he wasn't somebody like Hitler, or like he was just a family guy who was sharing his ideas and sharing his opinions and his beliefs about stuff. And people were legitimately thrilled that somebody took him out. Like, that's just, I don't know, it's just horrible to me that people can celebrate it. So my, like what affected me the most, what I'm trying to say, was seeing other people's reactions towards this. And I was like, whoa, like I can't understand it, but it's obviously like it's evil. Like it's straight up evil. I have many people that I don't agree with, and many people's beliefs that I don't agree with, many politicians, many people in the media that I don't agree with at all, many that I think are just like not very intelligent or just not whatever, like they have different beliefs. But I would never like turn on the news and see that somebody had been killed and be like, yes, like she's gone. Like I don't know, maybe some people feel like that. I don't know how, but I just can't wrap my head around how people can celebrate it. And then not even just celebrate it, like sometimes you can have like a deranged thought in your mind, right? Like you could have like an off or deranged thought, but then to like feel so emboldened and like so okay with like, let me just put this out there for the world to see on the internet with my name next to it and like celebrate it. Like, who does that? I don't know. This is obviously not like about me, but I have some experience in the world of like along these lines, like seeing the kind of things that people wrote about his death. Like it shouldn't have really shocked me all that much, given that I've seen plenty of like mean comments and stuff, you know, towards me. Like I've dealt with that before. Obviously, like I put my life out there, I put my beliefs out there. And so there have been some comments that I've seen that I'm like, really? Like there is like demonic activity behind this account, or like there is someone like just really evil here, or just mean-spirited, which to me just makes me sad. So it saddened me for sure. It also, I guess, like it took me back, like all of this happening, it kind of took me back to where we were like several years ago, because like, again, thank the Lord, like I didn't have like physical violence towards me or my family in the way that he did. But I remember a few years ago, there was like the whole Roe v. Wade thing coming back, and there was a lot of just like big political things going on. And I remember feeling very convicted at that time to share my beliefs and my opinions. Again, you guys, most of you guys watching my channel, at this point I have done enough filtering in the sense that like I have told you guys many times before where I stand on all of these hot topic issues. Like, I am a Catholic, I am a Christian, and really that alone should tell you my beliefs on things like abortion and, you know, like these big hot topic things that people will get death threats over. So I've shared that, and I remember back in the day like sharing my beliefs on that and sharing that I believe in traditional family values, and that again, I'm a Christian. I believe in like the Bible, and I believe in what God says about marriage and what God says about like how he made us male and female. Like, I have shared all of that before. And at that time, yeah, I lost a lot of followers, and I also lost like a lot of business. Like, I lost a lot of sponsorships, and I shared that here on my channel. That's not like a secret. Like, we talked about that. So it's kind of interesting because now people are losing their jobs because they're openly celebrating the death of someone, which is completely deranged to be celebrating the death of someone. But like, people came after my job just for having a different belief. Like, people came after my job and my business years ago because I just shared a different opinion, and never in a violent way, because I've always been very clear that like, people can have different beliefs. It should never be in a violent way. We should never attack, kill, harm. Like, we shouldn't do any of that to any people that we disagree with. That's just not the way to go about things. It's not what we believe as Christians. Like, horrible. So I never called for violence, but still, you know, people didn't like that I shared traditional Christian conservative beliefs, and people went after my business for that, which I did lose. So I've just kind of been taken back into that space. So I kind of have already had some experience in that world of like, you are like, people obviously do not like Christian conservative biblical beliefs. Like, I've seen that firsthand. So to see it play out the way that it did this past week was very like concerning to me, and very like, it affected me a lot. Sad that that's the world that we live in right now, where there is so much hate and there is so much evil. But I am very encouraged in the sense that I have also seen a lot of people like flocking to the church. And I have been seeing, like, I'm sure you guys have seen it too, like a lot of people saying that for the first time in many years, they're going back to church, or they're opening up their Bibles. Like, I do feel that sense of like revival in the air. And that's a beautiful thing to like witness, and to like, I don't know, it's like just like this sense of some people are waking up. Some people are realizing that this is not okay. And some people are realizing that we are battling like evil forces. Like, we're battling evil. The Bible says that we will battle evil. So that has been like the one, I guess, positive thing. Like, you know, waking up and being like, wow, there's probably a lot of people going to church today that for a long time, maybe they either didn't think it was important, or maybe they've just been like very lukewarm and very like, I could take it or leave it. Like, to see people realize that we really need to depend on our faith, and we really need to depend on Jesus, and we really need to keep that at the forefront, has been like a really beautiful thing to come out of all of this. And I'm sure that Charlie probably would have been happy about that, right? Seeing more people come to the faith and come to the church. So that's been a positive. It's also been very like a reconviction of mine, I guess, just like how important it is that we teach our kids. And obviously, like, I'm a homeschool mom. That is one of the reasons why I homeschool my kids, is because I do think it's my job to educate my children, because the world is not gonna do that. Like the world is going to educate my kids just like in the completely opposite direction that I want to educate them in. And that's not like a jab on like if you send your kids to school, like again, school choice is a beautiful thing and homeschooling is not for everybody. But I do think that whether you send your kids to school or you homeschool them, it still is your job to educate your children and to teach them your morals and your beliefs and your things that you stand for. Because if you don't, the world is not going to teach them Christian principles. Like it's just not. I think that the world is full of a lot of hate for sure, but it's also full of a lot of deception, and it's very much full of things disguised as Christianity, which is not going to be the same as true biblical Christian beliefs. And I think like we've seen that. I know that there are so many people who want to say that by us Christians teaching biblical truths, like, you know, men are men and women are women, that is somehow not Christian. Like people truly believe that. They think that we are being mean, or that we are not being tolerant, or that we are trying to be hurtful to other people. And like that's not true. Like the truth is that there is certain truth, and that if we love our neighbor, if we love our brothers and sisters, like we are supposed to share that truth with them in a loving way. But we're not supposed to just let people believe whatever the heck they want to believe and declare that that is truth, because that's not a loving thing. There are certain things that as a society, like in order for people to coexist, like we all have to be on the same page about certain things, and we have to believe that certain things are truth. And the same way that, I don't know, like the same way that there are like traffic laws, right? Like there are green lights and there are red lights and there are yellow lights. Like we all have to be on the same page that all of those lights mean the same thing. Green means go, red means stop. Otherwise, everyone's in a freaking accident, right? Like otherwise there's just complete chaos. Like if my friend, whatever, is like, no, but like I really feel like green means stop, and like actually I like the color red, and red means go. It's not loving for me to let them think that, because that is just not gonna, like we can't coexist like that. Like that is not a loving thing to let other people just make up their own truth. Maybe that doesn't make any sense. Fine. Like again, I'm just spitballing here, things that have been on my mind and on my heart. But there is a way to lovingly teach truth and uphold truth. It's like all of our kids, again, eventually one day will be exposed to different beliefs, and that's okay. That's okay. And again, they should never be harmful or violent or disrespectful or just evil or mean to people that share different beliefs. But we should be teaching them like the why behind the things that we believe, so that they can defend their positions and they can uphold the things that we are trying to teach them. Because otherwise society and other people and their peers, they are just going to like sway them. And we want to educate our kids. Like we want to teach our kids about the things that really matter to us and the things that are important. And that is our morals and that is our faith. We want to raise them to be like children of God, and to remember that that is the most important thing that we are. We are children of God, and to live our lives in ways that the Lord like would be happy with, right? Like what he calls us to be, what he calls us to do, like that should be the number one focus of our life. That has been very much like a reigniting of like that conviction of like, I have a responsibility as a mom to educate my kids. Yes, to teach them math and to teach them science and to teach them, you know, how to read, fine. But most importantly, to teach them of the faith and to teach them to open up their Bibles and to teach them the why behind all of the things that we do or we don't do. And it's important. Like it's important. It's a huge responsibility. It also takes a lot of time and a lot of effort. And I think that's why a lot of like parents have not done that, because it is very hard. In order for me to teach my children correctly, Like, it means that I have less time on my phone. It means I have less time to watch my shows. It means that I have less time to go to my Pilates class or to go do anything fun with my friends. Like, it takes time away from the things that I want to do that bring me so much joy, right? All the fun things that society tells you you should be doing. Like, yeah, but it's also the most important thing that I was like put on this planet to do, is to have my kids and to bring them up to know God, to love God, to be good children of God. And it's something that more than ever now, like, we just kind of have to double down on, like, collectively as Christians. And I don't know, there is like that, like, it's exciting to me. Like, I'm like kind of like on fire in that sense. And I know that we feel it amongst ourselves. Okay, my battery is about to die. Sean, I believe, just woke up, and Harper's getting fussy. So again, I'm not going to just sit here and ramble. I just wanted to just take a minute to just, you know, kind of chat with you guys as friends and to encourage you guys. Like, now more than ever, I do think, like, we do have to be loud about our convictions and about the things that we believe in. And so don't be afraid to have those conversations, to let people know where you stand about certain things. Again, never in a violent way, but just speak the truth. And don't feel like you have to, you know, kind of, I don't know, like, walk on eggshells or, you know, not make somebody potentially upset. Like, if you're speaking the truth, you're just doing that. You're speaking the truth. And none of us should ever, like, be harmed for sharing our beliefs. So yeah, it may mean that some people don't like what you have to say. And it may mean that some people want to say, hey, you're this or you're that, or you're not accepting, or you're not whatever. And people are going to have their opinions of you. And I think as Christians, like, we just have to be okay with that. We have to be okay that some people are not going to understand what we're about, and people are gonna take it the wrong way. Like, people are not gonna understand our heart sometimes, but that doesn't mean that we don't continue to share the truth. You know what I mean? So be encouraged. I think that, I don't know, people are just starting to wake up to the fact that we need less evil in this world, and the only way that we are going to combat that is by just, you know, by praying and by turning to the Lord, by teaching our children to know and love the Lord. Because, like, I am 1,000% certain that the people who are openly celebrating the death of someone, like, they do not have Jesus in their heart. Because if you did and you knew of God's love for you, then you would know that, you know, like, the value that that other person has, and that God created that person in his image, and you would know that whatever his beliefs are, were, whatever, that he didn't deserve to be killed and assassinated. Like, you would not be celebrating that. You would, you know, at the very least, you would say nothing. But the fact that people are celebrating it tells you that so many people are lacking love, are lacking just Jesus in their lives and in their hearts. So I don't have all the answers. What can we do? We can just double down on our faith, and we can spread the good news, and we can raise up our children to know that that is the most important thing. And yeah, so I hope that this wasn't all negative. I hope that you left, at least watching this video, I don't know, encouraged in some way. I'm just thinking of this, like, just from a motherhood perspective, knowing that I have kids and that I'm responsible for raising them. And of course, I'm thinking about the world that they're going to be growing up in. And, like, again, I can't do everything. I can't fix everything. That's not what I was meant to do. But that's just a little bit of what's been on my mind and what I've been processing here in these days. So I love you guys, and I'll be praying for you. And I'm going to go because my kids are cranky. So I love you, and I will see you soon in my next video. Bye, guys.